And welcome in to In-Game Chat for Saturday, April the 13th, 2024, Season 18, Episode 13. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
And welcome in, everybody, to the show here. So I'm didn't check volume levels here as I was starting the show, so now I'm doing it by hand, live, eyeballing it as I back off on one and raise up another. Okay, that'll be good there. Should be good right there. All right. Can you still hear? You good?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, making sure.
Yeah.
Because I had to turn the volume down on the headphones, which is also what controls the volume for the stream, but also controls your headphone volume at the same time. Yeah. Take a week off and, come back to things all... Not that anybody did anything. I don't know, but still. Oh, yeah, I got to do this thing. Thank you, Bama Brian. Cha-cha. Anyway, welcome into the show, everybody. Welcome back. We took a week off there, and... what a week it was to take off. Air show was in town. Mm-hmm. So went and did that both days. Sunday I actually got to go up. Sunday was fun. Sunday we went up into a plane.
With the doors open.
With the doors wide open. It was so fun. It was so fun.
You stayed in a plane, right?
I did not get to jump. I wanted to, but I did not get to jump. But I got to stay in the plane while they... It was really cool flying in a plane like that, with the door wide open from takeoff and landing. The door was completely open the entire time. And these are pilots who know how to fly a plane, obviously, but they're also not concerned with I don't care that I'm about to turn this plane at this speed. It doesn't matter. These are not... I'm not carrying a bunch of people that care about the whatever of the flight type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you get one of them big jets and stuff, and you take a turn. It's a very slow type thing. Not on this. There's very hard turns. Very, very
kind of Top Gun-ish.
Well, not necessarily. Kind of. I'm flying this.
We ever seen one of them air stunt shows?
Well, yeah, but this was not a. This is still a prop plane. Mm-hmm. But he would, take turns, not really giving two flips about the people, everybody should be secured, that sort of thing.
Keyword,
and that's
shoot.
it. Well, yeah. And we were, there was a couple other military people on the plane with us.
Okay.
And it was, and plus there were still the people who were with those jumpers who were still in there, and it was all secure. Everything was fine.
Okay.
But just the way they flew was so much different than what I experienced on a commercial flight, right?
Well, yeah, they start descending 2 states before the
Before they get up. They were only flying over that specific area, mm-hmm. and so basically they're just flying in a circle, waiting for the time for them to jump and stuff. And so when it would bank, you would feel the bank. I mean, you would feel that in your stomach,
Like that feeling on an elevator when he drops.
Oh my God, that was the descent. Whenever they jumped out, mm-hmm. and they were bringing us all down, they that coming down part, it was great.
Was it a dive?
It feels like it, but it wasn't, obviously. It was just a much faster descent than what you would normally get on a commercial flight.
Yeah.
Turns, descents, everything else.
Yeah, everything on a commercial flight is subtle.
Very, very subtle.
Yeah, unless something really bad happened.
Turbulence and things like that, whatever. But still, this was hard turns, fast descent, fast, ascent as well. So, but it was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun to be there. I was there Saturday and missed my chance to get on. And then Sunday, I got there early in the morning and was able to get on the plane with them and see them jump out of a plane. It was fantastic. I really wanted to jump. I mean,
One day you may.
Whether it be tandem or probably tandem is what I would do. But still, I would do either. If they're like, no, you can do it yourself if you want to. Here's all you got to do. And it's like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
No, do tandem first.
I mean, I'd probably.
Yeah, do tandem first.
I got to jump out of a plane at least some point in my life. Have to. Especially after going up there and watching that. Have to. First dude that jumped, man, it was so cool because he just stepped out. Well, you saw the video.
Yeah.
He just stepped out. So,
No, he didn't jump. He got sucked out the plane. That's
just gone.
Yeah, look, folks, if you've ever been driving in a car with the window down and you have a piece of paper and it accidentally slips out your finger,
that's exactly what it was.
To the dude on the plane.
It was so great. It just gone.
Did it make that sound?
No, not really, but that's just what it was. It was shocking. It was really surprising to sit there and watch, and then he's gone.
Where'd he go?
Yeah,
there's only one place he could have gone.
Yeah, and then when they all just spilled out. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do that, and I'm glad we took that time off so I could get that experience because it was planned for Saturday, didn't make it. Got a second chance on Sunday, and it was fantastic. So I was very, very happy about that. I ran into Matt while I was out there Saturday, I believe. So yeah, good to see him again. We knew that was what was going to be going on. So yeah, a lot of fun for that. And I say that's what I did, but that is what I did. But we also played some games. And so, what'd you play, RJ?
I am still working on Balatro. Still have not beat a deck yet.
Oh, man.
Level 6. I think I'm going to have to do some YouTube videos or things like that to see what's going on because I'm seeing some jokers that really, I don't know how they use them properly. I think that's the thing. I think one was called Madness. And this is a joker that basically takes away all of my discards, my ability to throw out cards to get better hands so I can use them for to get a better score. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to implement that thing to the best of my ability. I didn't want to use it at all, so I just figured I'd just get the thing to unlock it and see what happens because I was in the middle of a run that wasn't going to go anywhere. So I've had to start over plenty of times, but. That's the thing that's I'm seeing now, jokers that I don't really know how to use properly because a successful run of Balatro at this point, I'm imagining you just have to know how to use your jokers and your modifiers and your especially your planet cards and tarot cards at the perfect time.
Yeah,
really, especially in the late stages of the game when you get to ante 6 and 7 and 8. You really want to use those things properly because every chip counts.
Yeah, by ante 5 or 6. You should be pretty stable on like the path that you're working on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it got to the point where I think it was on ante 6, and the best way I was going to possibly get to ante 7 was to get straights the entire way because at that point I had like 4 planet cards and they were all for straights and flushes, and straights was at level 6. I mean, it was ridiculous if I got a straight.
Yeah.
And I had the jokers that to help as well, but I came up short, and that was the game.
Yep.
And it was especially it was 2 boss blinds that really messed me up, but one in particular, the fish, because the cards every hand you play, the cards come out face down. And you got no way of knowing. You can try to sort by suit.
I've done that, and you try to guess, and you have no idea.
You literally have to guess.
You really do.
You just have to guess on a wing of prayer, hope for the best, like actual poker. You just have to hope you get the cards that you need, but you can't see it. So you're just going to sit there and you just got to discard them or hope for a better hand or in my case, play them and hope something good pops up.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, nothing good popped up. So start over again. Outside of that, more Grand Theft Auto Online. Still playing the Cluck and Bell raid.
Okay.
It's just a nice little 6-mission run.
It's a good little farming.
Yeah, get a little farming thing.
Yeah.
$500,000 per run. Get $1 million twice, and by the time you do that, I can go to my businesses. They're probably full up, and I can sell those and restock them, and then go back to the raid again if need be.
Okay.
But like I said last time, the best thing about it is I don't have to buy a property to make some good money every hour or so. So that's the best thing about it. And like I promised, like I said I would, I played Columns.
Nice.
I found my Sega Genesis collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started playing Columns.
On what system?
PS4. It's the Sega Genesis collection.
I thought I figured that was the case, but
yeah, when I actually.
But you probably still have your Genesis.
I still have my Genesis, and I still have Columns on cartridge, and playing that. But the emulation was fine. Yeah, it got to the point where those blocks started coming down way too fast.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up, but it was just good, little nostalgia, taste of nostalgia to get back in there and see if I could get those blocks again. So did a little training at the beginning, the novice on the normal mode, and then I played the real deal arcade mode, and started playing that. And it was good to get back in there. And speaking of which, I didn't remember how many different titles there were in the Sega Genesis collection. There's I think about 30 to 40 titles on there. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I had and I didn't play before, and I thought, I need to.
Was that a digital or is it a physical copy?
Physical copy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a physical copy. And that's pretty much what I got into these past 2 weeks.
Cool. I'll go over what I also played, but first we'll go to Soldier Boy, who wants to talk to me, of course, about the air show thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Soldier Boy.
Is this Airman First Class Civilian Puke?
That would be right. That would be me.
Are you standing at attention, Jay?
Oh man, it was fun. It was fun.
Jay, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
All right. What type of aircraft was it? B-17 or what?
No. This was the Golden Knights.
Oh, you flew in a jet.
Yeah.
Puke. Oh man, that's wussy. Man, hey, I got to fly in a B-17. It cost me like $200 at an air show one time.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something about it. You know those little targets underneath there with they have the machine guns on top and the bottom ones?
Right, yeah. The ones you have to crawl in, yeah.
I'm 6'4", 240. I couldn't fit in the damn thing.
No, of course not.
You had to be one small SOB to fit in that damn thing.
Yeah.
I was amazed. He said, "You want to get down there?" I said, "Man, I'm not going to fit." He said, "You're right, you're not." I was like, "Wow, man!" I said, "Do I get a discount on the flight now that I don't get to fully use everything? I got to use a tail gunner in the back end, lay on my stomach and everything. That was pretty cool."
Well, I was supposed to go up on Thursday in a C-47. But the winds on Thursday were just too much, and they
were bad, weren't they?
And so they weren't going up. So I missed my chance then. And then Saturday there was another chance to go up, and to try and get parking at this air show on base. I was in my car on base for like 45 minutes, and we weren't able to go up. I was supposed to go. I was going to go up with Greg and Rich, and it was going to be me as well, and we were going to go.
Did Greg go?
He didn't. Well, no, because Saturday when we tried to, we didn't get there in enough time because we were stuck trying to park. And again, we got there with plenty of time, but the parking situation on base Saturday was just miserable.
Well, I heard how many people were going to be there. A friend of mine, he did a special duty assignment, and he was with he was a crew chief with the Thunderbirds, and that's a 16-month special duty tour that you get to do. But when they told me how many people were going to be there, and I said, that base is so freaking small park-wise, man. I don't know where they're going to put everybody.
Yeah, no, it was tough. And so Sunday, another opportunity came up, and I reached out to Greg to see if he still, if he wanted to do that, and he said he was going to pass. So, Sunday it was.
Now you flew in a jet, right?
It was a prop plane. And I have a picture. I don't know if the pictures of it on my.
Was
Facebook
it a cargo plane? Was it like a P-51, a P-38, the Lightning?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I really, really don't know.
You're a land lover, aren't you, Jay?
Well, I just don't know my planes in some cases.
Deep down in your heart, you wanted to be in the air, didn't you?
Man, it was so. I just love
I
flying.
think you and Snoopy. I think you had flashbacks of Snoopy and the Red Baron when you were little.
I love to fly. Love going up in the air. I took a picture of it. I mean, it's got. It looks jet-like, but it's not. It's prop plane. But I can't tell you. I have no idea what the actual.
The B-17 Fortress, that bomber, man. I tell you, it was so freaking sweet.
I would imagine it was.
Hey, I see that we got our freaking old 7th Fleet out on the hot alert now. I don't know what DEFCON we're at right now.
No clue. I'm trying to. I've got all this. I took all these pictures and stuff like that, and I'm trying to go through it to see if I can figure out what plane that was. But I don't know.
I tell you, I wish it was it a 2-seater or 1-seater? It had to been a 2-seater.
For what, the pilots?
Your prop plane. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-seater.
Okay, there was a 2-seater. There had to have been a trainer then.
No clue.
It sounds like a World War II trainer. Did it have a canopy on top where you had to roll it back and roll it shut forward?
No, I don't think so.
Did it latch over? Did it fall halfway over?
I'm gonna.
Like a hood?
Yeah.
Okay, it had to have been a trainer there. Sounds like a trainer. I bet you had fun in that. One of your perks of your job, huh?
Yeah, no, it was great. It was wonderful. I loved going up in it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Just wanted to give you a holler, Jay.
All right, man.
All right, you take care. Have a
You
good day.
too. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know what plane it was. I think I posted all the pictures on my Facebook page, but I can't remember. I think I just posted those 2 videos. I don't know that I posted actual pictures of the plane we went up in.
Okay. I remember. Yeah, I saw the video it was from the inside. So
it was. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When that other little prop plane came up next to the plane that we were in as it was waiting for the jump, because that plane was then going to circle the one guy that jumped out, the first one, he goes out and he goes down in like a corkscrew while the other plane does circles around him. They're all doing smoke and stuff, and it's just all, it's all twirling coming down. So it was really, really cool. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. No, the Golden Knights, no. Lethal Migrant says you went to Vegas for a hockey game. No, nothing like that. I did. So the games that I played, I did play Balatro some more. It's been 2 weeks now. I beat another deck. I beat the blue deck.
Nice. That's
is the blue one
extra discard,
or is the yellow one?
Red, blue, yellow, then green.
Okay,
then black.
I did. I beat the red, then I beat the blue.
Okay, and the blue gives you an extra hand or extra discard.
Extra hand.
Extra hand. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Blue gives you an extra hand, and then because the red gives you an extra discard.
Red is extra discard.
Blue is extra hand. Yellow is money.
Yellow is extra $10. Green, I forget.
I don't remember.
And then black is I forget that too.
Yeah. I don't remember that one either.
Look, I got to beat red first for anything. So.
Yeah. So, like I said, the way you were talking about that. I mean, I got lucky in some instances. My first win, I got lucky. And I can't remember how I got lucky in that regard, but it was just the way the cards were, and the way I was doing it. Then,
this whole thing comes to the fact that the cards you get, the jokers you have, and which boss blinds you got, because some boss blinds are real killers.
Yeah.
And you got how many? It's like 20 to 30 to pick from.
Right. Well,
yeah,
I was able to.
8, so.
I was able to get the Chicory Joker back into my hand on my blue deck win, which disables boss blinds, and that was fine. Disabling the boss blinds only disables the modifier. You still got to hit that score.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it may be, you still got to hit that score.
Okay, Chicory or Luchador?
Chicory. Luchador says you can sell that to reset a boss blind.
Okay, yeah.
Or disable a boss blind.
Oh, okay, there's multiple boss disablers then.
Yeah, well, Chicory disables boss blinds. As long as you hold on to it, the boss blinds never matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All the boss blinds
so
are disabled.
Luchador is a one-time deal, and the other is while you got it, we can't do anything.
Right, exactly.
See, I don't think I've ever got that one. So
yeah, well, it was a spectral card that got it to me. So, like, you know, the spectral packs?
Yeah.
You open those up, and one says create a legendary Joker. And because I've only unlocked very few legendary Jokers, every time I use that one, it almost always gives me Chicory.
Yeah.
But I rarely get the spectral decks to pop up in the store, or if they do, to get that one that says create a legendary Joker.
Yeah, I think the only spectral I ever got was a tarot card for Black Hole, and that was a good one. And then I found, but like I said earlier, the ones that I've been finding, the jokers I've been finding are the ones that I don't know how to use, or some are just plain bad. I think I picked up one that would destroy other jokers
Yeah.
at random.
Every time you click a boss bind, it does something, but it destroys all other jokers in the process.
Yeah, destroys your jokers. And in a game like this, folks,
I have no idea why you would want that.
Yeah, in a game like this, folks, random does not really mean random. Random in this game means the worst possible joker to lose is the one you're going to lose.
Well, I remember, so on the way to beat the blue deck, I had gotten to my my final 3 blinds, you know? And what I was what I was buying into was the fact that I need, I had already unlocked the thing that would give me, every time I opened up a planet pack, then a card would be in there that would be, you'd always get a card to use that would be for your most used hand. Mm-hmm. My most used hand was a flush. I was going off of, it was a flush.
Yeah.
And so I had raked up my flush. Boom, 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 boom. So every time I went to the store, I was able to re-roll to make sure that I got everything I needed. I would only do a re-roll. Actually, no, I beat this one without any re-rolls because there's an achievement for not re-rolling the store.
All right.
So I didn't re-roll the store on this one. However, for my big blind, which is the one right before your final blind, for my big blind, the skip was pick 2 planet cards. And I thought, do I beat this legit, get to the store and get some more planet cards, or do I hit the skip, know I'm going to get a planet card that's going to help me with my flush,
maybe,
and then move on? Well, it was almost every time I opened one up, it was always a flush.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. It was because my flush I had used like 36 times already, compared to everything else, which was in, 10s, 9s, something like that.
Yeah,
so it was almost
digits,
always. I think I had another one which was a full house, which I had been ramping up. And so sure enough, I did that, and I got to pick a flush and a full house. I also had one of those tarot cards that says, I can't remember what he's called, but he's the one that uses the last card you just used. Mm-hmm. And so I did the Jupiter, which is for flush, and then I hit my tarot card during the game when it started, and it regenerated the flush again. So I got to update it twice on my big. The
one that recounts the. Okay.
Yeah. It says, okay, you just use that card, we'll give it to you again. You know. And so that's what it did. And luckily I did that because I was able to, and that's how I was able to beat the blue deck. So now I'm moving on to the yellow deck. And trying to beat that. So
I guess more vouchers in your future when you play the yellow deck. I think it gives you $10.
Yes.
Yeah, it gives you $10. So yeah.
And I got pretty far with it, but I still failed on that. So I got to try it again. The blue deck was I immediately started and I went right through it. I did a single run on the blue deck without failing. Nice. It just worked out really, really well. Like I said, I got lucky with the chicory. I got lucky with flushes, because once I had like the diamonds and all these other things where it would just hit, and some aces and things like that. It was just, there was a lot there. And without those boss blinds affecting me, I never ran into kind of an issue. The boss blinds that tell you we're going to degrade your hand and value and all this other stuff, none of that happened because of my disabled boss blinds. The ones where, hey, these cards don't count, none of that happened because I was able to get out of it. So yeah, that was nice to have. So yeah, it was luck.
Yeah, one joker made all the difference.
It really did. Yeah. It really, really did. And so you look for that. But usually by 5 or 6, you've got an idea of the type of hand that you're using or the way you're playing your jokers, and it's usually one way or the other. So are you consistently playing this type of hand? Well, then lean into that. Whatever it may be, start to build around that hand. Yeah. Or if the jokers are doing what they're supposed to be doing for you and it's just running that way, then build your deck according to those jokers. Maybe not the hand, but the deck you can build with those jokers, depending on whatever it is that you get. And you really, really, really need to worry on the ones where it says everything's a face card and everything turns at gold. I rarely care about money, especially in buy 5 or 6, ante 5 or 6. I'm not worried about money. Money's okay. Early in the game, you're trying to get there, and sure, you can skip lines that give you money, and you can pick up the jokers that will give you some cash here, but don't rely on those. You want to sell those later on.
Yeah, I think the highest I ever had was I want to say in the high 40s.
I was in the 140s.
Yeah, I think in terms of money in some runs. So yeah, money really wasn't a thing you think about.
That first win on the red deck when I'd gotten to my final time at the store. I think I told you this. I had like $100 and some odd bucks. And so once I had bought what I want, I just kept re-rolling until something popped up that was useful. And of course, those re-rolls stack up as you use them. It's $5 for the first one, then I think it jumps to like 7 or 8 afterwards, then it jumps up more and more and more. Every time you re-roll, during that store instance, it costs more and more every time you do it. And so I was just doing that to see if there was something that could come that was going to help me on that final boss blind for that first one.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't do any of that on the second one. I didn't re-roll, and I got an achievement out of it, which was kind of nice. So, so Balatro I've played, and Talos Principle 2 I have continued to play, and I am continually enjoying that game so very much.
You found like new paths, or is it still new pathways to solve the puzzles, or
I think there's obviously, for the most part, most puzzles will have multiple solutions to solve them.
Okay. Yeah.
You may come up with something that sometimes whatever just gets the job done.
Yeah.
It doesn't look pretty, but it got the job done, you know? And so I don't necessarily have to worry about it, but there's been some that have just completely stumped me, and then I'll go back like the next day, pop in there, and I was like, oh, this is how it works. You know, it's very strange because you'll be playing puzzle after puzzle after puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, and your mind gets into this. Okay, look for this, look for this, look for this, look for this. If this isn't here, then look for this. If this isn't here, look for this. You walk into a puzzle room, and the first thing you look for is, what do I have here? You know, before I walk into these other parts of this puzzle, what is here for me right now that I can work with? Because if some stuff is there, then you probably want to work with it. If it's not, then you need to figure out how to get stuff, you know. You kind of just get a lay of the land, like how it all works. And even then, you look at some stuff and you're like, I'm not sure. I've run into, so compared to the first game, where you take beams of light and direct them into, matching switches, basically. Yeah. By reflecting and all this other stuff. They've added so many other things in here. So far, I haven't run across the bane of the first game that I ever had, which was the recording yourself. I hated that. Like you had to think in such a way to know how everything was going to play out. You would pick up so you would hit the record button, pick up a platform, walk over here, blah, 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 do whatever. Give yourself time to get your other self into that position. Then you would stop. You'd hit play, and all these things that you just did would play out in front of you. You wouldn't be playing it anymore. You would see that whole thing play out. And as it does, like, you pick up a platform, and all of a sudden you're another step. And so you've got to be ready whenever your old self is there from 5 minutes ago to jump on that platform and then jump to wherever he's taking you, that sort of thing. It was really, really confusing. It's very confusing to try and even tell you how it worked right now.
Sounds like some time slip thing or whatever.
It is. It really is. It's like, I'm going to record myself doing this, and then I'm going to play it back so that I can create new things, Yeah,
or the ghost image in a racing
it's
title.
Exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. But it's useful. You make that ghost do things that affect you in real time as you're trying to do it in the present, even though you did it in the past. Haven't come across any of that yet. They have added new things to where you used to only have red and blue lasers, but now you have red and blue lasers, but you also have green switches because you have color converters now. So if a red beam and a blue beam go into this color converter, it spits out a green beam. And then vice versa, of those three colors. And so they've added that. They've added not necessarily connectors, but these objects that you connect it to a red beam generator, and it will hold that red beam in the object. So it becomes like a portable beam that you can take with you through the puzzle. They have that now. They have things that make holes in walls, kind of like a portal gun, sort of. It's only specific walls, and it's only when you have that ability, and you can put stuff through the hole to, on the other side to puzzle that stuff out. And then what's the other stuff that they had? There's something else.
Anything telekinetic?
No, not yet. Oh, yeah. You do have, instead of, do you remember the time thing I was just talking to you about? Yeah. Well, now you have a clone. Some puzzles have a clone of you inside of them, and if you select that clone, you can take over and start operating him, you know? It's very helpful. So maybe that's replacing this time mechanic. I really hope so, because I really don't want to run into that again. They have platforms that you have to swap objects with, so the platform may have an object you need, but the only way you can get that is if you have another object to swap out with. It doesn't have to be the same thing. It just has to be an object that you've got. Yeah. Whether it be a box, another connector, or something like that, you'd have to swap it out. The difficulty there is that almost always you need most of it, and it's very tough to figure out, like, I need to swap this, take this off, do this, put this back on, take this,
Yeah.
You got to go through that stuff. So there's those swappers, and I can't remember the name of this one, but if it takes in a red laser, it spits out a blue laser. If it takes in a blue laser, it spits out a red laser. If it takes in a green laser, it spits out a white laser. Which white, I have not figured out how I need that at all yet, but that's what it does. So whatever those things are. So yeah, there's a lot of new mechanics in there, and I'm only halfway through. I am 50%. As of this morning, 50% of the game is done.
Okay.
So still going through it, still loving every single minute of it. There's another game that came out this week that I want to get your attention on, and it's called Children of the Sun. We talked about this. It was a demo for Steam Next Fest back in February or January, I think. It's Devolver Digital again. You basically, it gives a very Sniper Elite feel where it follows the bullet.
Yeah.
But you have control of the bullet.
Yeah.
So you can tag your targets and then fire, and the bullet goes where you direct it to. And as soon as it takes out one target, you're able to turn that bullet towards the next target to hit it. When that hits, you turn it to the next target to hit it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get all the people on the map with one bullet.
Yeah. Did you mention something about ricochets, how they can play into it, or
there's no ricochets that I know of.
Okay.
If you hit something, it's not going to bounce off. It's a miss.
Oh, okay.
The bullet stops. Unless there's a mechanic in there, and I haven't played it yet, but unless there's a mechanic that actually involves ricochets. But most of the time, by the way, it works on birds and other animals. So if for some reason you get lost and there's a bird, you can aim your bullet up to the bird. When it hits the bird, you now have a top-down view of where you need to go. You can look down and see, okay, where do I need to go next?
Yeah.
Gives you a nice overview of the area.
Yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of style points, curve this, hit this, ricochet off this, and hit these targets.
You do get it. There is a style thing, and I don't remember exactly how it calculates, but there was a style thing to it, something like that, like efficiency and how often you backtracked or retraced paths, something like that. So, did you use the gas tank of a car to make it explode to make the kill? Did you use other environmental objects to make a kill? Did you shoot the bullet through fire to put fire on the bullet and then do that? So you don't even have to do headshots. You can do all sorts of other shots on a body.
Well, Sniper Elite. If you ever played it, there's plenty of entertainment.
I was referencing Stranglehold. If you remember that game,
I still got it.
Yeah,
matter of fact, that's how I actually watched Hardboiled for the first time.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could actually.
Yeah. That was actually a John Woo game.
John Woo.
Yeah, Stranglehold.
John Woo film based
God,
on
it goes
Hardboiled.
that goes back. Loved it.
Every time we do this show, we always get some taste of nostalgia. I'm gonna have to go look for that game now.
We do. Just because it's what happens when you're old. You get a taste of nostalgia. Speaking of nostalgia, all the tracks from this week for the music into our commercials and stuff are all old games. There was a thread about old game soundtracks, and people were just posting YouTube vids, and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. This is stuff I've never played before, and it's great and sounds wonderful. This one is from Bubsy the Bobcat in Fractured Fairy Tales, I think was the name of the game.
Okay.
Might have been on the Lynx or the Jaguar or something. I don't know. This track is called Welcome to Wonderland. You're going to hear that more. We've got something from, oh man, what is his name? Tim or Tom? Oh, God, I'm going to have to look his name up. He did old NES tracks and just went hard on all of them. He did the soundtrack to Silver Surfer. The big one that he's known for is Pictionary for the NES.
Hey, get inspiration wherever you can.
Oh,
man.
my God. It's Pictionary, for God's sakes. But anyway, we'll get to more of that coming up. This is Welcome to Wonderland from Bubsy. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music comes from the NES. It is the title screen of RoboCop 3. It's amazing what they could do with what little they had to work with.
That makes it even more impressive. You that little amount of stuff you got to work with, and you can get stuff to work together like that.
It's like you can only use this many notes because that's all the memory we can give you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Here's the scraps. Make some music out of it. About multiple tracks. Of music
I know.
out of this. So yeah, okay.
I mean, there had to be a different track for each level of the game. Mostly, sometimes,
sometimes,
yeah.
Sometimes
it's the same thing, but still, it wasn't. And these composers would just come up with these things, and just amazing what they did. Tim Fallon was the guy's name who did Silver Surfer, Pictionary, and we've got one coming up called Solstice that we'll get into right now. We're going to go to the phones. Talk to Chris. Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
What's going on with you, man?
Well, I was on the ground while you were up in the air on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I became a temporary Auburn fan for about a couple weeks or so. Yeah, my forehead and my neck done started peeling.
Yeah. I was. I don't even know if it's. You probably can't even see it on the camera here, but yeah, it was sunburnt in the face.
You got some too, huh?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, I did. Started peeling earlier this week on the face. You've been playing any?
Anybody like me, you can't stand not leaving it alone and having to keep picking at the skin when it keeps flaking off.
The best part is that it's on my face, so I can't see it. Otherwise, if I could see it, I'd be trying to get those big, those big peels.
Patches, yeah.
Because I could look at it, but since I can't see it, I don't bother with it.
I've been just touching and sensing with the edge of my fingernail, and if I feel the edge of it there, and I'll just stick at it.
Yeah, no, not doing that. So, What have you been picking at game wise?
Well, I've been playing the Talos Principle. I beat the main.
You beat the main game.
Yeah, I did need to get some help on some puzzles from here and there, but now I'm doing the expansion pack that came with the game, so I'm working.
I don't think I've played the expansion. The Road to Ghana, whatever it is. I have not. I don't think I've played that expansion. I'll have to check. I don't even know if I own the expansion if I go to my Steam
Probably do.
library. I feel like I do, but I don't know. I think I have it on PlayStation.
That was part of that deal on PlayStation. It was like $5
right.
in the original.
Yeah, I think I've got it on PlayStation. I don't think I own it. Yeah, you know what? I got my Steam Deck here. I could go look.
Road to Gehenna?
Yeah. However it's pronounced there, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of other games and collectibles, you definitely need to go check out the Retro Game Planet on 31, where the new location.
Yeah.
They're right next door to their warehouse. That Russian, the owner, collects all kind of different things, collectibles, action figures, you name it, Lego sets. And his warehouse is open for tours. You most likely can talk to him and all if you're interested in just different things and stuff. And he has everything that you can imagine in that warehouse, and most of it might be for sale if he's willing to part with it. So he has a lot of collectible stuff that you open up your checkbook for it. And I picked out a bunch of games and stuff today, and Tim took pictures of them so he could price them and stuff. But I'll eventually go back and get some, and then wait till the next time to split them up some. But he has tons of old cool stuff in the warehouse that he's anything collectible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I popped open my Steam Deck to check and see if I owned the DLC of Talos Principle, and I'm apparently in the middle of a Balatro game. I didn't know I was in the middle of a Balatro game, but apparently I was. I'm looking to see where's the DLC.
$15 on Steam.
The main game?
Road to Gehenna.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to me.
Requires a base. Well, it wasn't caught a sale, so that was good. So let's see. The original is 30.
Oh no, I do have it. It says it's in my library, so I do have it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Talos is 30 on Steam.
Yeah. Okay. I do. I didn't know I had it, but I do apparently have it. Good.
You got the bundles and all that stuff.
Well, hang on. It says,
all in there as well. You got a bundle. The bundle for Talos Principle and Talos Principle 2 is
there it goes. Play now.
$54.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. I'm good. All right, I do have it. I should go back and play that because I don't think I ever played that that thing.
That was the one where you the creator woke you up, as another character, and you had to go save the other people that was trapped.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it entails, basically, if that brings a bell.
No, at the moment it doesn't because I'm playing through 2. And I'm halfway through the sequel right now, so no, it's not ringing a bell to me. But I got to go back and do that. That's good. That's great. I got something to look forward to when I wrap up the sequel. I can go play that expansion. That's great, wonderful. I have more Talos in store for me. That's great. I'm really happy about that. Huh?
I was looking at the price of still looking at the prices on Steam. Talos Principle is 30, and then Talos Principle 2 is the exact same on Steam. So
30 and 30.
30 and 30.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was on sale earlier. I don't know if it was earlier this week or or sometime last week. I think it was on sale.
Yeah.
I don't remember though, and I don't remember what the price was. Obviously, when you own the games, you don't really pay attention to the sales. So
heck, just get the bundle or just wait for wait for a sale.
Yeah. Play anything else, Chris?
Yeah. Something that would be that Greg on the radio would be interested in. For collectors wise, just it's Three Stooges stuff. But I found a collection of VHS tapes of a 5-box set, the Three Stooges Festival. It has all kind of different stuff and all about the Three Stooges. But the whole every single VHS of that set was brand new. It hadn't been opened, and it was like $7. So I said, I can't pass this up.
Well, where'd you find it?
I found it at one of the little flea market somewhere, but I saw that and I said, all those tapes are brand new. It's a little box set, about the Three Stooges, and every cassette was brand new, and they had like $6 or $7 on the whole package. And I thought, I can't pass this up.
That's cool.
Yes, VHS though, so that's not going to be used. So yeah, that's straight collectible at this point.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah.
So,
One
Or
of
if
those
someone
things
could just,
like that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
yeah, or if someone just at this point, they probably put it on YouTube or something. You can download it by this point.
oh, what the
Three
Three
Stooges
Stooges stuff?
yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah. I've got a massive collection of that.
Yeah,
On my hard drive.
but getting a hard copy in your hands.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with it.
Which is starting to be a rare thing now.
It is. But the more I think about it, the more I follow Wario on the thing, and every now and
Right.
again he'll post something like, "Hey, this entire series of this show is now this much money," and I'm thinking, that's a good idea. That's a pretty good deal. Wait a second, no, I could save space and just get it digitally. Especially when those come up for on Apple you can buy the entire season for like $10.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. I'll usually jump on that. Although most streaming services that we have now have basically anything that you'd probably want.
Yeah, but the thing we were talking about a while back
doesn't
about
last.
how it doesn't last. It's an extended rental fee.
it's the same
So,
thing,
yeah.
and we're going to talk about that because Ubisoft started removing a game from people's accounts.
Yeah, that didn't go over well.
Well, they didn't put them back.
Yeah,
No, it didn't go over well, but they also did not, look at that and say, oh, well, maybe we should change that. No, they didn't. They stuck to their guns on this. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into that. Anything else, Chris, before we go here?
Yeah, just other odds and ends of things I was doing. I found, have you heard or seen some of those old gasoline blow torches or kerosene blow torches from like the 20s and 30s, that's portable that you pump up with fuel and then light them, and then they're like a acetylene oxygen torch.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found another one of those at one of the flea markets. Then I tried to open up the valve and everything, and it was stuck. And then I really put some pressure on it, and liquid, or as you would say, fuel started squirting out the end of the nozzle. I said, "Yeah, this is a good one. I'm grabbing it."
what are they selling at flea markets nowadays, man?
It's been a while, apparently, since I've been to a flea market.
These sounds like antiques that should be on like PBS for the road show or something or whatnot.
I mean, yeah. All I know about those type of things now, that was worth well, because I knew it was in great working shape. So then I found a DVD and VCR combo for $5 where the VCR section doesn't want to work, but I want to tinker with that thing. I think I can fix it. I think it's something mechanical.
You are bound to determine to get a VCR working.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get it to work, then I got a DVD and VCR combo for $5 if I can figure out what's going on.
And an entire Three Stooges to watch on it when you get it done.
No, I wouldn't open it.
Yeah.
Like I said, search
I'm not gonna
YouTube
open
first.
Three Stooges.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I'm agreeing with RJ on that one. That one's staying sealed. I can probably pull things up or get it on DVD if I want to watch that, but there's so much out there online, I'd rather watch it like that way. But, yeah, you never know what you come across when you're out and about running around here and there. And,
Check your flea markets, folks.
Yeah, I'd say, $5 for this combo DVD and the VCR don't work. I'll give it a try. I might be able to fix it.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Well, good luck to you, buddy.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Take care, man.
Take care, huh?
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Coming up next hour, we're going to jump into the news of the week that we've got, which, some good stuff here to go over.
Except Ubisoft.
Say what?
Except Ubisoft.
Yeah, the Ubisoft stuff. Hey, I don't even know. Have you watched any of Fallout? Do you have Amazon Prime and stuff? You can watch that?
No, but I've seen some reviews here and there from YouTube, from
Right.
Double Toasted, other channels here and there, and they generally, from what I've seen so far, they well, at least one site in particular, they like what they got so far.
Yeah.
So far, they like what
Yeah.
they've seen.
I am not and we're going to get into that. In fact, I'll just wait until we do get into that to talk to you about it, because I'm only 2 episodes in, so there's not much I can give you as far as a review. I'm enjoying it. That's it. But I'll give you some more detail about that when we come back. Music here from a game that was on the, I guess it was on the PC. It's Davis Cup Tennis. and it's some music from that. You're going to hear, apparently it's like the menu music because you hear people grunting and screaming as they're hitting the ball. But yeah, this is from Davis Cup Tennis, apparently on the PC. I don't know how far back this goes. Good ways. Anyway, we'll be back with more VinGame Chat right after this.
Love.
Welcome back to In-Game Chat, and there's a camera. There we go. Sorry.
Part of our charm, remember?
I know. Well, this is music from Haven Call of the King. Not sure what system that came out of. You found that Davis Cup thing. That was 2002.
Oh, two?
Yeah.
As opposed to the other one. What I was talking about earlier, there's been a lot of Davis Cup.
Apparently.
Tennis,
Yeah, apparently it is. That's the case. Yeah, the next track we have coming up is the Tim Follen track, and I'll go into the detail on that just to give you just to give you some backstory on that. What do we have? The news? What do we get? There was a report that Dead Space 2 was going to get a remake, and that apparently fell through.
Yeah. Shame.
Yeah.
Because the first one was getting all types of rave.
Yeah. That
reviews,
remake. That's the part that I don't understand. Like, was it? It doesn't sound like it was a failure, as far as sales or anything like that.
Could not have been a failure.
I thought it did perfectly fine. And this is the remake I'm talking about. We know Dead Space 1 did fine. We're talking about Dead Space remake that they did. Seems like it did fine to us. And I have not read anything that EA was disappointed in the sales of it either. Nothing like that. But EA is denying that they have canceled a remake of Dead Space 2. They're also denying the fact that there is a remake in the works of Dead Space 2 as well. That apparently is just not happening.
But I can't see why there wouldn't be one. Like I said,
Right.
I can't see why there wouldn't be a remake of Dead Space 2 based on the sales and the reception of Dead Space remake.
And maybe given the surprise of this, the fact that they're not doing one, and people are like, "What? Why not? That sounds perfectly fine to do." Maybe they will reconsider that. I don't know. It says that the team that was working on that is now working on Battlefield now. So, which I haven't heard. God, I haven't heard of Battlefield in a while.
Yeah.
So I guess they're still trying to get that thing off the ground, or I say off the ground, but get it to Call of Duty levels, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, personally, my taste of gaming, I prefer the Dead Space 2 remake.
Yeah, totally.
Battlefield or Call of Duty.
I don't. Yeah, I know, man. I don't need it. You've got your Star Wars Battlefront, whatever that is. We're fine. Get back to your Dead Space. Get back. They probably only think they could do that. You could probably get away with that. I don't necessarily think you could do a remake of Dead Space 3 and still pull in that kind of...
No, because 3 is kind of polarizing. I mean, it's like folks really was not liking 3 compared
I don't
to
think
the
you could
first
do
two.
3. I think you could do 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I don't think... Which, I say that, and I look back at the remakes that they have done for Resident Evil, and it has just been banger after banger. Just the remake of Resident Evil, the remake of Resident Evil 2, 3.
3, a little short. 3 was a little short, though.
It was,
Really
but
short.
still did really good.
Did
The
really good,
remake
yeah.
of 4 did great. So yeah,
We're going to see 5?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it. I don't necessarily know if there's been a leak where we've seen, because this is Capcom, and I don't think that's been the case. But yeah, we should. Bama Brian says that Ubisoft wants $200 for the Ultimate Edition of Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws, we got that's the weird thing about Star Wars Outlaws. We got a release date trailer and a release date and a story trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, and a release date as well. Weird thing is that I don't remember that we've seen gameplay since last year at the Ubisoft Upfront or Forward or whatever the thing is called that Ubisoft does. The whole E3 thing. Summer of last year, I think, was when we got first gameplay of this, but we have not seen any more gameplay of this thing. Honestly, we barely heard anything about it until this story trailer and release date thing came out this week. Which I was surprised. Like, I saw that, and I don't know why this thing is not clicking for me. I watched the story trailer anyway, and I was just like, that does not... whatever story you're trying to tell me here, or whatever you're showing me in this trailer about the kind of story you want to tell in this game is not hooking. It's not hooking its claws into me.
Yeah,
It's not pulling me in.
Not for the Star Wars thing, right? It's,
I'm good on Star Wars. I really like Star Wars. I'm more on the... This should be in my wheelhouse because I'm more for the outside the Skywalker realm. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think about the reaction to all the Star Wars titles that's been coming out. Now, from what I'm gathering, it's a lot more misses than hits.
I think so. Yeah.
So this might be par for the course, really, in terms of your interest in this title. It's just not hooking you in.
Yeah, I've skipped out on a lot of Star Wars stuff as far as that. I need to go back to it because basically for Disney, when they put these things out, especially the series stuff, I wait for all of it to show up first and then go because I want to binge. I'm spoiled by it, but I'm not a guy who's going to sit there, with the exception, I think, of Mandalorian. I will watch week to week. But for the most part, I stay away from that stuff until it's finished, then I go back and watch it. And unfortunately, I've stayed away long enough that I haven't watched a lot. There's a lot I need to go back to. Not that this has anything to do with what we're talking about here. It's just the sense that this story was not pulling, the story that they were showing off in this trailer was not pulling me in. And so watching that, I just felt like, I don't know if I won't care, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna care. I didn't have a lot of the story for Jedi Survivor or whatever that was, the first one. I have not played the sequel, but the first one, I was not really pulled into the story on that one too much.
Yeah.
I was looking for something to play, and I had this, and the sequel was coming out, and I thought, well, let me play through the first one. And I did, and it was okay. I had some issues we talked about with map and that sort of thing, but I don't know, the story was not... I wasn't pulled into the story at all with that either. And again, this is something that takes place out of the Skywalker realm of like all these Skywalker people type stuff. That's fine. I'm okay with that, and I'm fine with it, even though there is, Vader and everything else. I'm okay when they bring in that sort of thing, but for the most part, I like stuff that kind of sits outside of that realm. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Outlaws is going to do it for me. I really don't. We'll see when it gets released. We'll see, reviews and other players playing it, and there'll be more footage of the gameplay to see if it's anything that's going to interest me. But right now, I'm not for it.
So usually the same standard fare, really, with a lot of modern titles nowadays. It's not a day one purchase. Just wait and see.
Yeah.
When it comes out, see what the response is.
I don't know. It's not working for me.
It's not hooking you in.
Yep, it's not doing it for me.
So bide your time.
Obviously I will. Just like I did with like Bama Brian corrected me, Fallen Order. And also, Survivor, the sequel that came out, which I haven't touched on that one either. So, I'm good.
Or wait for the discount.
Yeah. Apparently sometime in June, we're supposed to maybe get an update on the Splinter Cell remake. I always talk about that at the end of every write-up for all the shows that we do. It's always, I'm counting down the days since the last time we ever heard anything, that we've got anything for Splinter Cell. Last time we got a release of a standalone Splinter Cell game. And mind you, that if they do a remake of the original and put that out, I'm not counting that.
Mm-hmm.
I want something that is original, something new from Splinter Cell. And I may not get anything. We may get a remake of the first, like we got a Dead Space remake, and we may not get anything after that. Especially if this doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Then whatever. But this is Ubisoft we're talking about. So who knows? Ubisoft likes to, that dead horse is well and thoroughly beaten, and they will continue to do so on their franchises. They've done it with Assassin's Creed. They've done it with Far Cry. There was a time they did it for Splinter Cell, and then they just stopped. And they went over to Watch Dogs, which, by the way, it's been a minute since we've had a Watch Dogs mention, release, or anything like that. So I would expect something from the Watch Dogs franchise to pop up.
It's been a minute though, so
it really has. Watch Dogs Legion, I think, was the last one that they did.
I wasn't even aware of that.
I say Legion. I don't ever know if it's Legion. It may have been something else, but it was that whole situation where you recruited people into your team, and if they died on a mission, you just recruited somebody else into your team, type of thing. It was an interesting.
So it wasn't the same format as Watch Dogs 1 or 2?
No, some parts of it carried over, but the main hook, the main mechanic of that was something where you could play as a bunch of different people.
So a side story.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, so not the... Okay.
It was called Legion. Okay, thank you, AC Wraith.
Okay.
So yeah, he says he couldn't get it to work with his controller, but he wanted to like Legion. I think I've got it on PS5. I think maybe PC. I'm not sure. Never played it though. But yeah, Ubisoft likes to
not a true
stretch their franchises real thin.
So what a true sequel? Just a side.
What, Legion?
Just a get it over side story.
It wasn't.
Thing,
It was not called Watch Dogs 3. It was just kind of a sidestep. Watch Dogs Legion. So. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But I think you'll hear more about that. Like I said, Ubisoft likes to go to the well over and over and over again. And the fact that we haven't heard anything out of the Watch Dogs camp, I mean, we got Rabbids, for God's sakes. The Mario Rabbids thing. So, Rabbids, I mean, I think we'll get another Watch Dogs. I think we'll get a Splinter Cell remake. But I'd like to get something that furthers the Splinter Cell game,
Yeah.
Last one was Splinter Cell Blacklist. Make another one. Splinter Cell Red List. I don't know. Give me something. Give me some more Splinter Cell.
It's like I don't know. Maybe I'm just speculating here. A reason they don't want to compete with the Call of Duties or the things or the games of that nature. The ones that are really cleaning up in that genre. They just don't want to compete with that.
Yeah.
Because what it sounds like, they just gave up on it, didn't tell nobody.
Yeah. Speaking of Ubisoft. The Crew, which is a game, they've got The Crew 2 is out, and I think there's something called The Crew World or something. I don't know what it is, but it's another game. But The Crew is a racing game. And because they turned off the servers, they are now starting to remove the game from people's inventory. They don't want you playing the game at all. This comes from PC Gamer, says the downside of digital ownership has reared its ugly head again for enjoyers of the open world multiplayer racer, The Crew, from Ubisoft. The publisher has revoked its license for those who owned it on Ubisoft Connect, basically destroying any fan ambitions to revive the game in both an offline and online format. It was pulled from sale back in December, with Ubisoft revealing that the servers would be shut down at the beginning of April. Well, those servers have been shut down. Okay. It was always, even though a large portion of the game was able to be played in single player, It remained an online-only endeavor throughout its decade-long lifespan. That had already rendered the game unplayable, but it seems Ubisoft is now determined to take things one step further and are removing it from your library, your ownership, you know?
Wait, capable of single player, but made online only?
Let's see, what does it say? A large portion of the game was able to be played in single player, but it was an online-only endeavor. In other words, you could play it solo, but you would be connected online while playing it because they had servers. But now that they removed the servers, you can't even do that. The hope is that fans could make their own servers so that you could play that way, or some way that you could still play the game. And a large part of it was able to be played single player, but you just had to be online. So what they wanted to do was like, okay, we'll put it into the fans' hands, or we'll put it into private people's hands where they could just make their own servers for people to play or something like that. But that's just not going to be the case. Earlier this week, they started to notice that the license for the game had been snatched away from where you had bought it, where you had paid money for it. And now, nope.
Extended rental fee.
I say it's happening more and more. It doesn't feel like it is, but it is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see where this is all going to go eventually.
Yeah, I told you about what happened with me with Disc Jam. When the service was taken down, I couldn't play online, but I don't think I tried to play anything offline. Yeah. This whole conversation, I need to try that and see what happens, just to try to play it with the servers off, just try to play it single.
Depending on what it is, you're either you might get away with it or you'll get locked out of it.
Probably training. Training against a generated ghost thing. If that's online or not, I'm not sure, but I'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I won't be playing anything online. Let's see what happens if I get something offline, because I think there's an offline mode on that thing.
Yeah, just more and more. Like, I get it when they pull it from the store because maybe there is a licensing agreement with like songs or something like that. A lot of the times they'll try and renew that license so they can get the game back up on the store. The problem with that is if they remove it because we no longer have license rights to that song or whatever the case, that doesn't take it out of your library. It just means people can't buy it.
Purchase, yeah.
So you can still play the game and and still enjoy whatever the music is or whatever that case may be. You're still free to play it. Not so with the Crew. They're taking that they're just taking that away from you. There was some other game they pulled.
Ubisoft?
I don't remember. I don't remember if it was Ubisoft or not. There was something else. And it wasn't this week. It was like, I don't know, last year or something like that we ran into. Where they had pulled the game, but then they put it back on the store. But I can't remember what it was. I absolutely can't remember what that was. Might have been in the article. I just didn't get down that far. We have enough time to talk about the Fallout show on Amazon. The reason we have enough time to talk about it is that I'm only 2 episodes in. The other reason we have to talk about it is that I am not a Fallout fanboy, and I hate to even use that word, because only for the fact that I don't really consider them fanboys. I think there's plenty of fans of Fallout.
Okay.
And
if you ever played Fallout, you're going to understand bits and pieces of the thing, that's for sure. But the trick is getting people who has no experience with Fallout just to keep interested in the show. I mean, that's the goal anyway. To get fans of the goal is to get the fans of the what it's based on, and the people who have no idea what it's about, to get them interested as well.
Yeah, and I think they're probably doing that. At least from everything that I've read from people who are fans of the game, the show's doing perfectly fine. There was a little bit of a scuff up this week, apparently, as people got into. Apparently, episode 6 reveals some stuff for the canon of the entire Fallout series, and I don't know what this is, and I don't think it's going to affect me when I get there, because I am not that deep into the Fallout series of games to have any sort of care, or I may not even notice whatever this whole situation is.
Depending on lore, I mean, I played, I think my first Fallout was 3.
Mine was 3.
My first Fallout was 3,
and I didn't go very far with it.
Yeah, it was, and I didn't even seek to buy it. I think it was given to me. relative gave it to me. Just said here he wasn't.
It's kind of something I would like to do. I'd kind of like to go back to it, but I've done that before. I've gone back to the older games, and I've looked at it, and I was like, this is crap, and I don't want to play this. Only for the fact that it looks dated. And that's tough, because at the time that game released, it didn't. At the time that game released, we're like, this is amazing. This is wonderful. And you go back and you look at it now, it's like, all right, I understand. There was a different time. And I struggle to call them mods, but there are like texture packs and other things that you can do to enhance the look of Fallout 3. The obvious choice, though, is to jump into Fallout 4 and go from there. Or even Fallout 76, which from what I understand is much better than what it was when it launched. Mm-hmm. It has improved. But it still is like a multiplayer type of game. Yeah. And I'm just not sure I want to jump into that. But I think we're getting an update to Fallout 4, I believe. Fallout 4 is going to get a next-gen update. Not next week, but I think the week after next. Fallout 4's next-gen update will be rolling out on PS5 and Xbox Series X on April 25th. As part of the update, Fallout 4 will receive native applications on both consoles and come with the usual next-gen flourishes. This includes 60 frames per second, and also performance and quality modes, which will allow players to select between either higher resolution or improved frame rates, depending on which way you want to go. It'll also have bug fixes and improvements to stability of the game. Players who are still on the previous generation of consoles will also receive an update, but that one will be focused on stability and fixes. All these years later, Bethesda is still working on bugs for this game. PC players will receive a similar update that introduces widescreen and ultra-widescreen support, as well as updates to quests and Fallout 4's mod creation tool. If you straight up haven't bought the game yet, Fallout 4 will also finally be coming to the Epic Games Store alongside this update, and the game will be Steam Deck verified in case these updates have players wanting to take their gaming on the go. So that's good that I'll be able to play on my Steam Deck. I own Fallout 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. Although there's some DLC for both of those that I don't have that I may pick up, because there's currently a sale on the Fallout franchise on Steam right now through April 19th, where you can pick up the Game of the Year edition of Fallout 3, the all-in edition of Fallout 4. Fallout New Vegas has all the DLC and everything included into it.
That's something I need to finish, actually.
New Vegas?
New Vegas. I think the one thing they took me out in Vegas was the Cazadors. Yeah. I could not deal with them efficiently enough with the stats that I had.
I want to say, man, I'm not sure, but I want to say this like continuity issue that people are having problems with from episode 6 involves Fallout New Vegas. But again, I don't know my timelines, man.
Yeah, so you might not.
I don't know my Fallout lore to know that when this thing happens in episode 6 that I'm going to look at it and think, but wait, what about? I'm not going to notice.
Probably not,
because I'm just not that deep into the lore to say, wait a second, you're skipping over, you're messing up your continuity. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just not that.
Yeah, you probably if you're like that, then you're probably not going to notice at all.
I'm not that deep into it to know. I'm really not. But I'm enjoying the show. I'm 2 episodes in and I'm enjoying the show.
Okay. Yeah.
So. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hit up some more news here. That is all coming ahead. So let me tell you about Tim Follin. Tim Follin, Follin, is a composer and started composing for video games way, way, way back in the 80s, mid-80s, late 80s, early 90s, that sort of thing. His biggest one was Pictionary. We have played Pictionary on this. We have talked about this, where the dude has this much space to work with. Like, you can only use this many notes, this many different sounds on the score. So good luck. And he's like, all right, fine, I'll work with Pictionary. And he knocked it out of the park. A soundtrack that Pictionary should not be. In fact, the running gag is, but Tim, It's Pictionary, you know. Then he did one for Silver Surfer. He also did the soundtrack for an NES game called Anticipation, which is like a board game for a console, you know, back then, which they did. You know, you had your Monopolies and everything else. You totally did.
How those things played.
Yeah. So he was doing these scores, and he did a score for another game called Solstice. And apparently Tim has a method. You hear it in Silver Surfer, you hear it in Pictionary, you're going to hear it in Solstice, where it starts out and it says, "Hi, I'm a soundtrack for an 8-bit video game." Aha! As you get a few bars in. I'm much more than what you thought I was.
Yeah.
This is exactly how this plays out for a game called Solstice. You'll hear in the beginning very much what you think is a very old school video game soundtrack, and then he just goes nuts. Here's the soundtrack for Solstice on the NES by composer Tim Follin. He said, and welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from Dangerous Streets. I don't know what year, what game, or whatever that is. It's called The Last Fight. It's the name of the track. Actually, a Tim Follin track. That's what was it called? Solstice.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like ding, 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 then bam, bam, bam. And he just, man.
93?
93 for what? Dangerous Streets? What year was Solstice?
Solstice.
On the NES. I'm a bit curious.
90.
1990. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. Getting back into the news. We got... look up this one because I'll forget to ask you. But
okay.
We're going into... Well, we're going to close the show with the theme from a game called Cheetah Men? Or Cheetah Man? Cheetah Man?
Cougar Man.
Well, basically, yeah. Cheetah, like, you know, the animal. And then men. Cheetah Men? Or I don't know if it's
the
men.
Cheetah Men.
That's it? You found it?
Yeah, video game series created by Active Enterprises.
Yeah.
Starring 3 anthropomorphic cheetahs.
Yeah.
Introduced in 91.
91?
It's part of the Action 52 multi-game cartridge for the NES.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah, so that's what we've got coming up to close the show with. Cheetah Man. Let's see. What did we have in more of our news? Got a new Prince of Persia announced. In fact, there was the Triple I Initiative showcase took place. And we got 9 of the biggest announcements comes from Polygon. We got a reveal for Slay the Spire 2. Slay the Spire is a deck builder roguelike that is a lot of... Whenever I look up Balatro things, a lot of references are like, oh, Slay the Spire. This has very Slay the Spire feel to it.
Yeah.
I have not played Slay the Spire. I don't even own the first one.
Yeah.
But the sequel's getting released. which means the first one will probably get a discount. But anyway, yeah. Risk of Rain 2 free update was shown off. Dino Lords. It looks like a medieval city builder and a tower defense RTS, except the twist of this is that your enemies ride around on dinosaurs. So yeah, it'll be a Steam Early Access game with, there's no release date yet for it. We're going to get Contra DLC for Vampire Survivors. That's a game I haven't cracked open in a while. I still need to play it on my desktop PC to see if all my saves have stayed there. I tried to play it on my deck, and it showed that there was nothing there. And so I'm curious if everything got reset, but I haven't fired it up on my PC yet to see if that's the case, my desktop anyway. We got the first trailer for Never Alone 2, another sequel. Darkest Dungeon 2, getting a free game mode coming up. There is a arena teaser for Palworld that was shown off. Cataclysmo was an announcement. A real-time strategy and tower defense game from Digital Sun, the developers of Moonlighter. The game takes place in a city that has to defend itself against horrible creatures coming from the mist. There will be magic, ancient civilizations, and Lego-style building, according to the developers. It will launch on PC July 16th. Then we got the... I really thought it was a working title, but apparently it's not. It's called The Rogue Prince of Persia. And that is a rogue Prince of Persia. Where you have one life and you go as far as you can, and then, you know, your upgrades stay with you after you die, and then you go as far as you can again. It's from the makers of Dead Cells, so it's got some pedigree behind it. But it's coming to Steam Early Access on May 14th. That's interesting. Prince of Persia, as I understand, is a Ubisoft title. But nothing mentions that Ubisoft is involved with this. Outside of maybe the licensing. Because it's getting early access released on Steam. Yet, here is Ubisoft's own storefront. Nothing there about it that I know of.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm only making this connection now, by the way, while we're talking about it. It never occurred to me when I was watching video of the game or reading about the game. It never really hit me until just now that, wait a second, because we were talking about Ubisoft previously. I'm like, wait a second, Prince of Persia is a Ubisoft title.
Well, they're publishing it, so yeah.
There is some speculation that maybe, and I know Lethal Migraine's going to love me talking about this, there's speculation that maybe Bungie might actually be thinking about possibly, perhaps releasing maybe Destiny 3. This is all speculation. But apparently there's a dude who leaked a whole bunch of stuff for Destiny 2's upcoming DLC that they released, and what's coming in the final shape as well. This guy nailed it. And now he is saying that Destiny 3 is in development. Pretty reliable source, but it's still rumor. You know what I'm saying? It's still, this is still coming from a guy who got it right twice before, and now he's saying Destiny 3 is in development. Maybe he's getting it right again. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe it is in development or was, and maybe it no longer is. There was a time that Destiny 3 was in development a whole long time ago.
Well, it might change into something else for all we know.
Before they decided to say, you know what, we're going to make it all Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Of which I am still banned from playing. However, I don't think those bans would hold over into Destiny 3. I don't believe it would. If you get banned from Diablo 3, were you also banned from Diablo 4? I don't think.
Possibly.
But I don't know. Still.
Because they banned the name and the account and all that information. So
the thing about this is that if Bungie actually is in development of Destiny 3, they've got to contend with Sony owning them.
Yeah.
There's something in their contract, and I don't know the wording of it. I don't even know the whole situation about it. But there's something in there where if Bungie starts failing to perform, and I don't know what that means. I just mean if
it's just vague enough to where they could be anything they want it to be.
Like, I feel for certain in a contract that the Bungie people signed with Sony, I feel like there is very specific information. But the information that we have, the general public has, is something to the effect of, if they don't meet expectations set by Sony, Sony gains control of the company. In other words, Bungie right now is not necessarily independent, but they are working without a lot of influence from Sony, from what I understand. Like, Sony's not stepping in and telling them, you got to work on this, you got to do this, or you got to do that. Sony is staying away. However, if Bungie does not meet expectations, Sony then takes control. We, as the general public, we're living inside the vague of whatever that may mean. Bungie, higher-ups, Sony, higher-ups, know exactly what that means. I don't know what underperforming means, but there is a number that Sony has, and if Bungie doesn't reach it, then Sony takes control. That number, again, I don't know what the speculation is on, or the specifics are. Is it as a company as a whole? Is it just Destiny 2? Is it what Marathon does? I don't know. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. But yeah, I'm curious as to how that's going to pan out.
Yeah. Is it specific, or is it something like Sony moving the
it is for them. It's specific for them. I just don't know what that means. Like, how bad does it have to underperform? Like, what is that number? Yeah. What is that number that needs either to be reached, or what is the number that they got to get to in order for them to remain control? And also, how long is that in perpetuity? Is that in for as long as, how long does that last? Is it within the first year? Is it within the first 2 years? Well, I don't know the specifics.
Yeah, we don't know the specifics.
Like, do you have to constantly meet this goal every time you release a title?
The first thing I'm thinking is, in that position, somebody's going to move the goalpost on them in some situation, possibly.
Right, but you got to think that there's something in that contract that is very specific.
Unless some specifics in the contract.
I can't imagine the lawyers on either side of this thing saying that if you don't meet expectations, and then there's an asterisk that says expectations are whatever we deem. It's like,
well, it won't be written that simply, but something along those lines.
Right. There's got to be a number. There's got to be some sort of thing that is very specific on what they have to reach.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like they're not going to reach it. A lot of people who are in the vague, as we are thinking that, Sony is moving the goalposts. They're just like, you know what? That doesn't meet our expectations, whatever our expectations are.
It's like, reminds me like Square Enix with Tomb Raider.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
That's exactly kind of where I was going with it.
Yeah.
Was the whole Square Enix and Tomb Raider situation, where they're like, it didn't meet our expectations. The hell were your expectations, man? It did great.
Because we were looking at that like, what, that wasn't enough?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You did. And now, granted, it was an Xbox exclusive, I think, console exclusive or something.
Despite being exclusive, it did that well. And it still wasn't enough for you?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I think that was our issue, was that they did not like what it did. And we're like, well, what do you expect? You limited it for this. And even on the limitations you gave it, the fact that only people who own this console could buy this game, it did really well from what we understood for a one-system title.
Yeah.
You know? But who knows? We don't get that information. Sir Boofles in the chat room said that the original Prince of Persia is not owned by Ubisoft. Ubisoft owns the remake, not the original side-scrolling. That's interesting. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. But anyway, this guy says that they're working on Destiny 3. We'll see how that works. There was at one time, like we said, there was at one time a Destiny 3 being developed. They canceled that. We figured it'd go Destiny 2 for the rest of it. Given that Bungie's working on Marathon, and apparently Marathon's not really working out too well so far, they got time to rework it and tool it and fix it and make it better, whatever the case. There's some internal problems going on over there with shifting and management.
Yeah.
It feels like, and I hate to say this about Bungie, because I feel like at one time Bungie was if we want to do this, we're going to do this type of company. I don't know that they're in that. I don't know that they're in that mind at the moment. In other words, I feel like they're falling back on what they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, hey, look, we're going to release this marathon thing, but for our next game, maybe we should move Destiny ahead.
Yeah.
Stick with this, stick with what we know, what has been working, and move forward with this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Part of me wants to see them not do that. Even as bad as I would like to get back in there playing with my friends and everything, part of me hopes that they don't do that. Part of me hopes that they come up with something new. I don't even feel like Marathon is new. I mean, they're probably going to make it new, but I haven't. God, Marathon goes back a long time ago. And this isn't necessarily a remake that they're working on. It is a completely new game. It carries the Marathon name and probably the Marathon mechanic of whatever that is, but it's not necessarily a remake or a reboot type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry, I can see through the screen there.
What you got?
I'm hearing his conversation on his phone. Just listening to his conversation he's having on his phone outside the studio. I don't think it's picking up on here, but it's totally...
If it is, we'll find out
later. It's totally picking up in here. I just don't know that it's picking up on there. Oh, there's a whole Reddit thread about that. Anyone know if Prism has been leaked? Since there's been no answer, I guess I'll ask it. Bungie is working on a system called Prism. Okay, this was the original leak. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, awesome. Apparently this leak was a month before any of what they revealed recently about the new stuff in the game. He leaked it a month early, so... But a lot of people didn't buy into it, especially with the way it's doing. Apparently, they're mixing and matching your elemental powers now, like all your God, am I really forgetting all the titles of all the things?
What?
Like
Soul, Arc.
Yeah, like Strand and Solar and all these other things.
Yeah.
You can mix and match your stuff now. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have. Yeah, I don't exactly know how it all works, but
let's see what happens when we mix this and this.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to think about. You know, I still get the Discord updates from our group.
Yeah,
I haven't muted that channel, but I still get Discord updates, and they talk about doing all this stuff. Part of me is like, I'm so glad I'm not chasing that carrot anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I found other carrots to chase, but I'm so glad I'm not chasing that one anymore.
Yeah, something we talked about a long time ago. This whole situation forced you to play other titles and getting that backlog.
But also at the same time, seeing them talk about it, I also feel like, God, I wish I could get in on that conversation. Mm-hmm. You know, I really wish I could sit there and have those conversations and somebody posts something and I'm like, oh, and then I figure out the synergy of how this all works, or whatever the case. It was always fun to just experience that new stuff, even though it's the same thing I've been doing over and over again, but still. Some days I'm glad I'm not chasing the carrot. Some days I miss the carrot. Yeah. You know, some days I miss it. Talos is really keeping me occupied. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I started playing Control, but I never finished. So I want to go back to Control and play some of that.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of titles like that in my case. Started, not finished yet. Something
I forgot to mention. I guess it was last week or week before, whatever. It was after the show that we did 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It was after the show. Digital versions of Spider-Man 2 for PS5 were on sale for like $7. It wasn't a price error. It was being sold in a completely other country. Japan.
Okay.
So you had to make a Japan account in order to input this code. Mm-hmm. In other words, I went to the website to buy it. Now these were legit, by the way. These are not these weren't stolen copies or anything like that.
Not no bootleg scam or anything like that.
Apparently they released a bundle, and so people were selling their keys for the game. They didn't want the game; they just wanted the system itself, and so they were selling off their keys. And these keys were going for like $7. And you could buy it on the website, and then they'd send you a code. The problem is you had to redeem a code in the PlayStation Store for Japan. Mm-hmm. So I created a Japanese account, went to their store. Thank God for these things. This is my cell phone. Mm-hmm. Because I could then take a picture of whatever the Japanese writing was on the storefront, and then I could put it in here and say, what is this? And it would translate, oh, that's this, because I was looking for redeem code. And then once I had redeem code, I put the code in there. Then more Japanese would come up, and I'm like, all right, well, what is this? Which does this one say download? Okay, download. Boom, boom. Once I got past that, I was fine. I can play the game on my regular account. It's shared, and it'll be in English. So,
Yeah.
I scooped a Spider-Man 2 for like $7.
Yeah.
That was great. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't started playing it yet, but that was really cool. So
Yeah. Plenty of folks got the accounts in other
Yeah,
countries and whatnot. So yeah, for that
so
purpose.
I've got that to play whenever I get done with Talos as well. I've got Balatro to play forever, given I'm sure it's going to take me that long to finish some of these decks. I don't know. There's just plenty. I got Children of the Sun that I mentioned. That one's that just came out. It's like $15. I've heard it's really, really good.
Yeah.
You could jump back into the Fallout game. I don't know. I'm okay. It was my point being is that without Destiny, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
I'm still okay. I just kind of miss the conversation. I miss playing with the guys. I miss playing with my group. I miss that. They still do their raid nights, and I still, get home to work on the show, to work on editing this video, and then I'll get little blips like, hey, I'm coming in, I'll be there 5 minutes, that sort of thing. And I just remember all these things, and it was really fun. And I do miss that. I may not miss the carrot. I may not miss the time consumption and how it dominated my gaming. But I miss playing with my friends.
Yeah.
More than anything else. And on that note, time to wrap it up. So, we'll be back next week. We'll do it all over again.
Maybe right this time.
Huh?
Maybe right this time.
Probably not. Oh my God, there's a lot of people in the chat room. Do I have time? Unknown Scout, Tarsay, Stephen Van Dam, Sir Boofles. Really like that name. Regrezes, Omega's Innocence, Mark Zink, Lethal Migraine, Feels Sunny Man, Drunk Degenerate, Strapsnat, David 3, a bunch of letters, Dank Freeze, Donk 7, Bama Brian, ASMR Miu, 8RO, and then there's a bunch of Aaliyah, Darla, God, there's some names I can't pronounce. But anyway, and AC Wraith hanging out in there. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate you listening to me ramble and ramble and ramble. Here's a musical experience for you. It comes from a game called Cheetah Men, and it's the theme to Cheetah Men. So that's what you've got. Have a great week, everybody. I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate all the calls. We appreciate all the downloads, everything else. Just have a fantastic Saturday. We will be back next week for more of In-Game Chat. Here is just chocolate for your ears. I don't know. It's actually pretty gross.